Okay, Kansas City, Ben Fetzer again, Advanced Microbial. Follow video to the one about every house having mold. I answer the question, no, every house does not have mold. Related to spores or water damage spores, I would say one more thing about water damage. Not only does a water damage event produce a type of spore or a species of mold that is not a normal outside type of mold. Um, there's also just say Aspergillus penicillium. That's a common mold outside. But when you see it at a higher level inside than you do outside, now you may have a source. You've either had high humidity or you've had an actual water event or something has caused that species of mold, a very common mold, to be elevated. And that's not normal. That's not what you're looking for as far as air quality. So, in that case, it doesn't have to be a water damage species. It's a normal species that's elevated and it's pointing to an event, some type of source. There's probably mold growing somewhere. Okay. So, actual fungal growth, fungal impact on drywall trim. You've had a water event, there's flooring that's affected, etc. There's mold growth. That's going to indicate a different spore species, and it's going to indicate this house has mold. Now, I want to throw out an additional situation or additional variable. When you build a house and you bring in lumber from a lumber stack out front, there are trees that are cut down that sometimes have fungus on them. There are stacks of lumber that sit in the water or the rain, and when they bring a piece of lumber in, it may have a little bit of mold on it. Those never get cleaned. It's not common for a contractor to clean any of the lumber. They're in a hurry. They're trying to get this roof on, siding on, windows in, build the thing before the elements destroy it. They have a window of time and they are not thinking about cleaning any lumber before they put it in the house. So there may be a board or two. Every house, I would say, probably has very, very high likelihood that there are boards. There are floor joists, your big 2x12 floor joists, or there may be rafters, or there may be 2x4s. And those boards, maybe there's 10 of them in every house, maybe there's 5 floor joists that have a little bit of this fungal growth on it. That is normal. That is maybe the exception to the rule or the phrase. Doesn't every house have mold? Well, every house may have a few boards with mold growing on them, or it was growing on them and no one's cleaned it off yet. Usually when a house is being sold, that's found by an inspector and pointed out. It's been there for the life of the house. Let's say the house is 20 years old. You may take air samples and there's no air change. There's no elevated mold counts as a result of the mold that's growing on the joist. It's not even growing, I'd say it's just inactive and it was there. There's mold on the actual wood. We call it construction mold a lot of times. I've heard a environmental company call it blue mold, which I thought was interesting. And they, the environmental company, have said this is just construction mold. It's not an air quality concern. So that's a different variable beyond the spore thing. And I would say in the case of, say, an unfinished basement with 4 or 5 boards that have this bluish mold on it, if the basement is humid, that actually may grow and activate. But normally the air quality is not even affected. The spores are not even elevated in that basement because of these joists or 2x4s. So I hope that brings a little bit more of an answer to the question. Every house may have a few more moldy boards or boards with mold on them from construction. That's not necessarily an air quality concern, but if you have actual active growth, not every house has that. If you have water damage spores, not every house has that. If you have air quality issues, not every house has that. Okay, so hopefully that brings some common sense into the equation. Not every house has mold. Not every else has air quality issues related to mold spores. So there you go. Ben Fetzer, Advanced Microbial. Hope you're having a great day. If you need anything, moldkc.org. Look us up. Be glad to help. Have a good day.